Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie May Cry. Joining me is the licorice liquor, LeRon D.
Wow. But you know what? But you know what? I can't bundle a lie with that one. So yes, you get that. Yes. Hello everyone.
And Mutant League Logan Quickens.
I'll take that one. I'll take that one. What's up, about? What's up, y'all?
The licorice liquor. You know what? I don't discriminate either because every now and then I did black licorice too. I don't discriminate.
Oh no, I'm sorry. If you're going at the black licorice, like, do you have taste buds?
Only in small doses. I mean, like like how you get like the little small Twizzlers.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, like that size,
Okay.
and only like one, maybe two if I'm lucky. No, like
You're not biting the ends off and using it as a straw like you would with normal Twizzlers.
hell no.
No. I do like when me, Celeste, and LeRon was talking about our favorite snacks and stuff. We talked about Twizzlers. I do the cherry ones with the pudding pill, but I still love the regular strawberry ones.
Mm.
Like, man, when Aldi's had those big bags for $1, shoot.
These clients, because I was over at a payroll place doing doing some IT for them, and one of the ladies there asked me, she's like, LeRon, do you like Twizzlers? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, check this out, and she brought the little canister that has the Twizzlers in them. She's like, these are the freshest Twizzlers, and I'm like, explain fresh. She's like, trust me, you're gonna think you're in a strawberry patch when you bite into one. I was like, I haven't had a fresh Twizzler like that since I was a kid. So she's like, here, take one. So I took one, peeled it off, took that first bite, and I was like, can I have some more? I like took half the can of Twizzlers.
Wow.
No, she was not lying though. Like, those had to be the freshest. Like, this must have been the batch that came off the very first part of the press roll, off the candy rack. Because I mean, seriously, it's been a long time since I've tasted a Twizzler that flavorful and vibrant. Like, man, I was in shock.
Now, where does the pod stand on fruit roll-ups?
I like fruit roll-ups I like fruit roll-ups to an extent, but I have this problem because I eat a whole bunch of them until like it winds up being like that taffy in the back of my mouth or on my teeth. And then later on, of course, my teeth are freaking screaming at me because like, yo, you put all the sugar on me.
I would probably do like maybe 2 a day, but like probably have one like one like at lunch and then one at night for like a dessert snack or something, and then I don't touch them till like a couple of days and stuff. I have
impulse issues. If there's a box in the house, like half the box is going to be gone before dinner.
Well, they don't have that many, so
I know. Was it like 8 in the box
8?
now?
Yeah.
It was so 4 of them are gone.
Now, growing up in the mean streets of Kansas City, this is what me and my little brother used to do. We would split one, right? So we'd cut it in half. And we'd take it, right? We'd put it in our cheek like we were chewing tobacco, and we'd just suck on it and then spit out. Oh, dude, we thought we were so bad, man. Like, oh, man.
Huh.
Man. Well, we had the cigarette candy where it was like gum.
I might be telling my age. You remember Big League Chew?
Yes.
Oh, no,
it was chewing gum.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they still had that because I don't think I've seen any recently.
We still sell it at work.
Man, I remember me and my friends. We used to grab that stuff and we had like the most giant wad in the side of our cheeks and stuff. Like we're doing chewing tobacco.
No, like it's not uncommon in the summer for me to just have a pack in my back pocket. Like, I'll go to the gas station, buy 3 or 4 packs, and be like, screw it. It's healthier than tobacco, a little bit, but
yeah.
If we was going to do any gum, we did Bubblicious, because we had to, put like 2 things in so we could have that big pop, when we're blowing it out.
Question: Do you prefer the straight Bubblicious, or do you like the ones that have like the little fruit juice in the middle?
It had the fruit juices in the middle, the flavor.
Okay.
Because like because if you just eat the straight like regular Bubblicious, I think it's like the pink one, the flavor runs out real quick, and then you just end up chewing wax.
Okay.
So
Ooh, 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 ooh. The Black Ops Cold War beta is open for everybody now. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty fun actually too. I played it this morning.
Ooh, ooh. Wait, but it's just multiplayer. I kind of want just like piece of the. I just
Single
want a piece of
player.
the camp. Yeah, I want a piece of the campaign. I don't want to get in there because I suck at multiplayer first person shooters, and no seriously, like I will spawn and I'm dead. That's how terrible I am.
That's pretty much all the Call of Duties. Yeah, I actually tried to go to Tsushima.
The multiplayer.
Uh, the multiplayer one. It was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of fun. Yeah,
you
it's,
enjoying it?
it's
You enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. I played it this morning. I got a trophy. I got a trophy for it.
Mm.
Um, what was cool is me and this other random player. We was on top of the building and we was about to assassinate these two guards, and we both jumped down at the same time. And I was just like, "Oh, we don't get a trophy for this! Oh, dang it!" It was really cool. It was really nice. I'm just like, I like it. What they do is, they kind of teach you each character.
Mm.
So pretty much if you played the game like original game, you know everything what to do. But they add a little stuff here and there since most of the stuff, like if you're like the samurai, you have mostly just your sword and do those things. But if you like the assassin, most you still can attack, but most of your attacks are powerful when you assassinate everybody. So it's a really cool thing. I don't know if I'm going to do new game plus because I did kind of get everything. Um, but it's not. But all my little stuff I didn't fully like power up and everything. But I'll see. I'll probably go through it and see what I'm missing. Cause yeah. So, but before we go on with that, got to get into this quick housekeeping. This is episode 67 of the Boss Rush podcast. Each and every week we come together to talk about games and everything we love about them with our friends. You can join us live on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Games live and be a part of the conversation. But if you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head over to youtube.com/BossRushGames and BossRushGames.com to watch the show or listen on your podcast service of choice. Remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume us. It helps us out with discoverability, and check out our family of shows wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you guys haven't heard, Crossroads, their latest episode is out. They have a great conversation that you guys really should check out. LeRon, you want to let them know what happened this week on Crossroads?
Yeah, we basically we just had like a real somber moment, and we actually thank Sony for this because Sony actually got the ball rolling. And I gotta give credit to Nelly because she brought it to the rest of the team's attention. But Sony reached out to the community and asked everybody to name one game that's helped them through some of their darkest times in recognition of World Mental Health Day. And man, like the answers were great. We even had answers of our own that we decided to throw into the pie. And it was I gotta say, Crossroads, where are we 8 episodes in now?
Yeah, we're 8 episodes in.
Yeah, we're 8 episodes in now. I gotta say, like for one thing's for sure, like we have a lot of fun, but we also love to engage and have these make you think type moments. Whether we're talking about people being jerks on the internet, or whether we're talking about games that we just want to see, or games that have changed over the years and things like that. But we also try to have like the real discussions and things like that. So yeah, check us out. Check this week's episode out that happened on Tuesday night. It's already available. It's already live on the other podcast servers. But yeah, like World Mental Health Day, it's a big deal. It happens October 10th every year. World Health Organization created it, and it's just one of those things that it brings more awareness because, especially right now in the time of COVID and stuff, like we're seeing a lot more people having episodes of depression and manic episodes and things like that, and it's because humans, even us, even introverts, have these periods where they want to actually have interaction with other people. And because of COVID and stuff, like more people have had to isolate themselves and stuff. And some people just cannot cope properly.
Yeah, I know. One of the biggest things about that is still to this very day is Hellblade. I think Hellblade is like pretty much be the number one game that deals with mental health and stuff. And I know a lot of people who love it, a lot of people talk about it. But to see that game when it came to Xbox, to see that people who buy the game, they was going to donate to a charity to
Mm-hmm.
help with mental health, and like just having the game about mental health. Even I always talk about Papa and Yo, about the designer dealing kind of with mental health from abusive dad who was a drunk, who had an alcohol problem, and it's just like really talk about that and really present it in a manner to make you not only think but be just aware of it. It really showcases that games are not just what older adults who don't understand it or who's looking on the outside may
Exactly.
have an idea of it. If you get into games, they speak their art speaks in different ways to different people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think if it's funny. It's funny, like Lieberman, everybody know with the Night Trap thing. Like he probably thought this is all what videos are going to be, and I would just love someone to have him play Hellblade and
Yeah.
have him play something that's going to really make him think and just be like, you thought games were this, but this is what games turn out to be in
Yeah.
this world.
Yeah.
Here's what a lot of people that are not into video games, and I can't just say it's a certain demographic or a certain generation and things like that,
Mhm.
Right.
because I know people who are older than me that love video games and stuff like that. So I can't pick out a generation or a certain demographic of people. Because I do know some people who are actually younger than me, like in their late teens, early 20s, that think us gamers are just like a weird bunch, and like this is escapism that's not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah.
But what a lot of non-gamers seem to think is that video games is just a distraction, and it's just something that pulls people out of moments and stuff like that. And they don't realize that video games, even going back, I'm not going to say like Atari games, back in that era had what we have now. But video games have always been trying to tell stories and do things for the most part. I would say 90% of video games to date, and I'm talking about from back in the day till now, have always been trying to have a message to
Mhm.
because video games is a form of art. Like, whether people want to believe it or not, it might not be a form of literature, but it's a form of art. And art is supposed to be thought provoking. It's supposed to bring out emotion. It's supposed to do things like that. And 90% of practically any video game that's out there is like that. And so a lot of people just don't understand. A lot of people who aren't gamers do not understand that what the entertainment value that we get out of it is more than just pure entertainment.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Logan.
I think that, like, video games are meant to provoke change too. I look at Concrete Genie as a game that has spoken
Yes.
about how
Yeah.
you can have these, when you've been bullied and you feel alone, using your imagination and finding out that being you is the best thing you can be. And I know that phrase is said a lot, but like, the best thing you can do is be unique and be yourself and stop trying to follow the trend and follow the wave and just be yourself. And I think, like, Concrete Genie is a beautiful game for telling that story. But then, like, you look at games like God of War. There's a great lesson in God of War of, don't be sorry, be better. You can apologize all you want, but until you actually take action, you're never
Yes.
going to change. And you find these lessons in games you just wouldn't expect it. I mean, who would have thought that after playing God of War 3, oh my God, Kratos is going to teach me like one of the most genuinely great lessons
Yeah.
of 2018. It's just it's crazy. And then you have the games like Spider-Man, like Stan Lee's quote in Spider-Man, his little cameo of no, sorry, his little cameo there, and what they kind of take it from Spider-Verse is, anyone can wear the mask and anybody can be a hero, anybody can do this. I think video games are one of the most empowering, uplifting sources of hope in the world today. And if you can't find that in a video, it's easy to get lost in like the Call of Duties where it is just straight up shooting them up, but even Call of Duty has some good lessons in it somewhere.
Yeah.
But like it's easy to get caught up in the violence of it. But if you look and you see, like, there is huge change, like what the Life is Strange team has done for mental health, for abuse and alcoholism and everything like that. Like, that's the kind of impact I hope I can have.
Go ahead, Laura.
I was about to say, like, with the Life is Strange team and, like, of course, like Naughty Dog with the Last of Us series and stuff like that, like they touch on some stuff that, and I'm not throwing Naughty Dog and the Last of Us just because it's a current game, but the Life is Strange team, for example, like you see some stuff in there that if you're not in a mental place for it, it will disturb you. But at the same time, this is real life. This is real life, and that's what a lot of people fail to understand. It's like art imitates life the same way life imitates art. And there's a lot of non-gamers that do not understand, like, that this is something that, going back to the World Mental Health Day discussion, this is something that has helped people cope with something. It's something that's helped somebody survive a situation. It's something that's helped someone not commit suicide. It's helped somebody realize they need to help somebody else that is in trouble or in dangerous situations and things like that. And you know what? Once we get down to the core of everything about it, people, when they open their minds and realize what's going on, then they understand that, like, video games is another vector, just like a lot of other stuff that they would take more seriously, like books, like movies, like music and things like that. So yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's one thing to say, like, I know what depression looks like, but do you know, like, what the warning signs are before you even get there? And I think that's like where Life is Strange just really knocks it out of the park of, hey, abuse can come from all these different sources, and it may not be stuff that we realize we're doing either. Mm-hmm. Like, awareness is such a cool thing, and that's why I think, especially in the world today, we're seeing such a huge trend of people, hey, we got to be aware of this, we got to be aware of that, because we've been ignorant for so long in this world. We've been ignorant towards emotional abuse, we've been ignorant towards physical abuse.
Yeah,
and it's time we start to own the action and do something about it.
It's a thing that's, for a lot of us, there's little things that trigger us, that makes us get into this mental state and everything. And games, and I think that's why when I look at Nintendo, how, regardless of what their business practices and whatever, how sometimes I always talk about the fun and the quality of their games, and they're kind of lighthearted and they're not challenging and they're making you feel something. Sometimes you don't want a game. You don't want to come home being stressed from work and then play a game that's going to still stress you out more. Something about Nintendo can relax you, like, and yeah, Animal Crossing or even Kirby's Epic Yarn. Everybody's just like, oh, that's an easy game. I'm like, you don't know that a lot of people might look at Kirby's Epic Yarn and it's relaxing because they don't have nothing stressful. Look at the way that everybody went from The Last of Us Part 2 and then with Super Paper Mario, the Origami King. People were laughing at Paper Mario after having a roller coaster of emotions with The Last of Us Part 2. And so, and that's sometimes, and you don't even think people have a mental state like that, but sometimes people do. So it's good that Sony did do that. Everybody, please go give that episode a listen. It's a really great discussion. And also give Arsenal X. We had a good time on Powerful. Say that, and I will leave that.
Oh, now hold on. We LeRon and I have talked about this.
Yes,
y'all are trying to, encroach our territory, y'all. Like, we are.
Okay. Hold on.
I don't mean to say funny, but we are.
Hold on 1 second. Before you go on, you got to talk to Bossman about that, because he's the one that jumped everything off.
He's worked corrupt him on Crossroads, and now it's
right. So all of that jumped off with Boss. And Corey, I love you. Happy anniversary. You take your time off. We got roped into that, so you already know. We go with the flow. We have fun and do what we have to do. We did have like Arsenal X Crossroads 1v1. We had like almost all of us.
Wait.
Make it up to me by approving the T-shirt design I submitted yesterday, because I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
act like you didn't see it. Don't act like you didn't see it.
Don't act like you didn't see it.
With the feet one, I would sell feet for the PS5, BRG. That's just like, wow.
Yeah. There's a reason I haven't got a reaction from Corey on that.
Can you know, there are some people that I know that love feet, and I'm just like, oh wow, they will really buy the shirt.
I think it's the perfect epitome of Crossroads. It's everything.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, come on. How do you cross the road? On your feet.
Exactly. Exactly. He's speaking just truth bombs out here.
Oh wow. Yeah, so everybody, and also check out Shane Kelly's 1v1. And also check out the guys at Tower Casual. All the episodes from this week is out. So do give that guys a check. Is your review out yet, Logan?
Yeah, Squadron's out. Yeah. It's up
For
online.
Squadrons. Okay. Did you score it or anything?
I did score it, yeah. So let me double check because I went back and forth on this one a little bit. I think I gave it a C plus.
I know I still have to put out my blogs and stuff, and I haven't got to them yet. I gotta just change some things and upload them. But I know Squadron. Before you go, Logan, I know a lot of people have been talking about the multiplayer is fun, but no one's like really talking about the single player.
Yeah, because the single player is the review seems more negative than I meant for it to be. Like even Grammarly said, like, "Hey, you're really speaking kind of in a negative tone," and I really should have kind of fixed that. But as much as I love the multiplayer is phenomenal. This has a lot of typical EA mistakes in it. In the sense of like, I know it was built for VR, but like the characters are so stiff. There's like the voice acting in this game is just, it doesn't do anything for me. It's when you think of Star Wars, you think of these big, awesome characters and the creativity you can put into their stories and stuff, and there's just nothing there. I'll be honest, I skipped most of the hangar stuff of when you're supposed to go talk to the characters and stuff. I would skip through it because it's just like none of this is interesting to me. You're telling a story that, like, I'm sorry, just give me like the best part of the game is easily just flying a jet, and I love story, and I will happily spend hours.
That's crazy. That's crazy because Star Wars is all about lore. That's crazy.
Exactly.
But
Go ahead.
cool cover. I was going to just ask you guys, and actually go ahead, Logan, because I'm gonna ask you after. Ask you guys this after, then before we get into the topics and stuff, because you just popped something what you just said popped in my mind. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars lore. I read books about Star Wars lore. Like, I can't get enough of it, and so. And we all know I love a good single player story mode. That's kind of my jam. That is the genre I stick to. And so diving into their backstories and stuff, I usually love that. And this one was just like, okay, you're cool. Now they do a cool thing. There is a trans character in there. That's cool. Which I thought was a really kind of interesting choice, and it really works well within the squad. But like there's no moment in this game where I'm just like, yep, this is an A+ game. This is I gave it a C+ because it's like, it's good. It's not great. Like the flying mechanics are perfect. The audio is the best thing about this game. And just being able to pinpoint where somebody is just based on the sound of their engine within your headset. It's like, that is so cool. But everything else just like, whatever.
Well, I kind of want to ask you guys, do you think EA is dropping the ball? And do you think they're going to continue to drop the ball and next gen with Series X and PS5, because it feels like FIFA 21 for Switch is a joke. Like Madden and NHL haven't really did much.
Madden, of course, full of glitches too.
Yeah, they're on. I still hear they still got problems with their online. Like it's like
awful.
I think Anthem hasn't been received well at all. I don't know how this Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is going to be doing, but it doesn't feel like, even though they changed their management, their games are still just like blah, and they're not the quality that they should be at.
I feel like with EA, the problem is that they've got too much baggage from that dark time that they had. Because I've seen where EA, when an EA game comes out and it feels right, it is right, but they're still caught with some of that baggage. Logan and I will tell you right now, the downfall of EA happened as soon as they messed up both Mass Effect and Dead Space.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had lengthy discussions on Crossroads about those two franchises and where EA mismanaged things like that. EA, I think And also, I also feel because Visceral Games was a major part of the Star Wars team.
Mhm.
But remember, they picked up Amy Hennig from the Uncharted series. She was going to be the writer for two of the major Star Wars games that came up, and apparently, Amy Hennig had to step down and leave because she had creative differences with the upper management and stuff like that. So EA is still in this weird flux where they're trying to shake their bad image, but at the same time they still don't know where to go forward. And if I can make a recommendation to any stockholder or any person that makes any type of creative decision at EA, let the developers, let the programmers do their thing. Take some cues from gamers, because I will admit it, as gamers, we can be bullies. But also we also can propel stagnation into the industry, because sometimes we want more of the same without realizing that we crave something different. And
It's expectations.
yeah. That's my stay on it. Like and not just EA, like anybody that's out there that is a publisher. EA, Square Enix, Activision, publishers, and even Sony, stuff like that. Microsoft Studios. Pay attention to your developers when they turn around and say, "Hey, we have this idea." See what they have to say. Like Dead Space was an idea. Dead Space was an idea that they worked on. They worked on in their spare time, just like Inafune worked on Mega Man in his spare time. Capcom didn't want to believe in it until he actually threw them a prototype. And now look, Mega Man is like its own freaking. It's more than 50 games strong.
Yeah.
Mega Man was the leading game that Resident Evil turned out to be. Because Mega Man was making Capcom money, and then Resident Evil became that game that was making Capcom money. Street Fighter was doing it here and there, but
Street Fighter kept Capcom alive for years, because Capcom was stagnant for a long time, and that's why we had so many different versions of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3. That's why Street Fighter was keeping them. But now like Capcom's gotten pretty diverse, and one of the biggest mistakes, and I used to have the nickname Captain Capcom, because like every game Capcom released on most systems I had, but Capcom made their biggest mistake when they basically folded up Clover Studio, or basically they kind of just let them slip through their grasp, because that entire studio was making some hits, and now they're platinum games. And look at them now, like, man, they might not crank out the games like we would like to see them do, but I don't think I can name one platinum game title that I did not like. I'm not saying every single title they had blew me over, but I know for sure I can look at all of them, and say that I actually had fun playing this game.
I think you have to look
the Turtles Manhattan game, Cora. Did you play those?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. It wasn't bad. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Like I said, knock me off my feet or whatnot. Because like there are games that knock me off my feet are, of course, Bayonetta, Vanquish, Astral Chain, which I need to beat.
Same.
Good game.
Go ahead, Logan. Because yes, LeRon, I know you brought up the Astral Chain. Because I kind of want to say something, and then we're gonna get into. Okay. I'm sorry. These are
we're
the
gonna
things.
have to bring up a fight.
But go ahead, Logan.
I think you have to look at it from the handling of two different studios that EA works with. Okay, so let's look at a good example of what EA's done lately, and that's Respawn. Respawn's been killing it for him.
Yes,
I mean, Apex Legends is still one of the top games in the PlayStation Store. It still gets a ton of money every time a new season drops. It competes with Fortnite now, granted. Fortnite has continued to evolve and done amazing things, and that's why they're still number one. But then you also have to look at, like, Jedi Fallen Order was another game that Respawn did that absolutely crushed it. And that was a Star Wars game I couldn't get enough of.
Yeah. Well, the reason that is that EA didn't force them to use DICE's engine. They let Respawn do what they needed to do, and which is weird, because it's just like you would think that with not the failure of Titanfall, but
Titanfall wasn't a failure by any means, though. I mean,
that's why I said. That's what I'm saying. Just like it did well, but it wasn't a failure. It may have been a failure in EA eyes, because Titanfall 2 should have sold way more than it did. But they sometimes see certain numbers as a failure. And it's weird. I'm just like, so even with two games that you guys consider not your top tier quality games for you as a company, you guys still believed in Respawn, gave them Apex Legend, let them do Apex Legend, made sure that you didn't give them you didn't force them to use and learn the DICE engine. You let them do whatever they do, and now look what they produce.
See, they let Respawn have that creativity, but then you get BioWare coming in here with Anthem, and BioWare is getting micromanaged like crazy.
Yeah.
And Anthem becomes what was one of the most hyped games of 2018 to a mediocre title, or it was 2018.
I feel like when you look at when you ask gamers about Anthem, they say that's a commercial failure.
It's a commercial failure. Like, I love the game itself. I think it's really, really cool. Heck, it's why I have a whole channel. LAN Party wouldn't exist without Anthem. So, I mean, always going to be grateful for that. But, like, Anthem at its core has a really cool concept, has great flight mechanics, has a lot of cool stuff. It's just the gameplay is just repetitive, and they're trying to be Destiny when they're really not.
And I think because what I think what happened is with that, and because this is also happens with Ubisoft, is that gamers are still sold on cutscenes and not sold on what the actual product is. And so when all you are fed is these fake cutscenes until the actual product comes out, you really don't know what you're really getting into, or anything.
But I mean, EA made tons of mistakes in the build up to that. Like in that first trailer, in the first gameplay trailer we got of Anthem, it was the 4 suits using all their specialty powers instead of using their guns to actually defeat their enemy that was in that trailer. It's like, you rarely get to use those powers because it takes like 2 or 3 minutes to regen each one of them. So it's like, if they had showed what the gameplay was actually going to feel like with the guns and the weapons and everything like that, which is still fun, it would have been different. But
I think that's why everybody looks at Nintendo when they see the Nintendo Direct. Why, whether you like what they're showing or they don't show, they're showing you actual product for you to make a decision if you want to pre-order it or play a demo or not. They're actually showing you product. They don't fake anything about it. You're going to get what you're seeing, and over time they're going to improve it. And I think gamers are holding EA and even Ubisoft and all of their games up to that level. And when we get next gen stuff, more next gen stuff, because that's why I love the Sony State of Play when they were showing the PS5 stuff. This is actual game play. Well, for the indie games, these are actual game stuff that you're going to get from indies, and this is an idea of what you're going to get from first party and third party. You know, but it's still, there was something about that still felt very gamey about them, that you'd be like, I could buy. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. So what were you about to say about Astral Chain? I'm curious.
Okay, so back to Platinum. With Astral Chain, I love Astral Chain. Trust me, I love that game. I think with Astral Chain, with Nintendo and Platinum, they're just a great fit. And outside of them, maybe Nier Automata is the only other game that is like really worth looking into with Platinum, and Transformers. I like the Transformer games, but it always feel like Platinum has a hit with Nintendo and doesn't have a hit with anyone else. And so when I seen Astral Chain, I was already sold on Astral Chain. When they did the first show on that, I was just like, I need to pre-order this now. Like no joke. I was ordering.
Here's what I think, because we kind of had this discussion a while back. Here's what I think is what really happens. Nintendo's products don't have the same amount of proliferation as the Xbox and the Sony brands do. And I say that meaning that like there are a lot of titles on the Nintendo Switch. But when you stack the Switch titles up to the Xbox One library or the PlayStation 4 library, it's still diminished. So, and this is where I think the NPD kind of plays the game. Bayonetta 2 is only available on the Switch. It didn't release Wait, Bayonetta 2 is on the Wii U? Yeah, it is. Yeah. I forgot. It came out on the Wii U first. I'm sorry. See, the Wii is a Nintendo system I didn't own, so I always discount that. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so Bayonetta 2 is only on one console, whereas its predecessor, Bayonetta 1, came out on 3 different platforms. the sales figures are ratioed to a certain extent. So that way, when it turns around and says Bayonetta 2 is like the top selling game of whatever month it is, I'm just saying this, figuratively. I haven't looked at any NPD data on Bayonetta 2 since maybe the game launched.
Mhm.
But I feel like with Nintendo, they get ratioed so that it seems like so that they can be a contender in the sphere, because if you put them on the same scale with their single release versus what releases on multiple systems, all of a sudden a million Nintendo Switch sales is dwarfed by 40. Hold on, Monster Hunter World has sold over 15 million titles worldwide
Mhm.
across 3 different platforms.
hmm And
Yeah.
I think personally they wouldn't have even did that number if it was on one platform. And I think
Exactly.
I think that's the thing about it. I think a lot of people don't understand is that when third party are saying that they got all these big numbers and huge sales and stuff, they're selling on multiple systems. They're not selling on one like what Nintendo does. And that's third party versus first party. I think the same thing goes with Microsoft and with Sony, is that these numbers are big if they were on one platform. Game Pass is saving Microsoft in the use of their games being played. You would never get those. You would never get those numbers of purchases.
I've said Game Pass is the new games as a service, and we know games as a service means something else. We know that, but I think Game Pass is what actually is embodiment of the real games as a service market should be.
And I think that's why when we talk about indies and stuff, that why the indies on Nintendo are doing so well and they sell so much, is because Game Pass is a Game Pass when it comes to indies. Oh, I will only test this and then I won't play it again, and I'll just let it stay on the service and I'll just continue to pay whatever I pay. Where on Nintendo, people are just like, I need the physical version of this. Limited run, are you doing it? I would pay $40. And that's saving a lot of indies from that sphere.
There's a trap right there with Game Pass and also PlayStation Plus. You have the service, you get the games for free, which means like you have an opportunity to play them as long as you have the service. A lot of people will just try it out before they buy it, and you get lucky if they turn around and say, okay, I'll go out and buy a copy of it and stuff like that. It's a little bit different for Nintendo because you legit are paying for that game, which means they get a sale regardless. Like they don't get a download, they get a sale. And so there's the trap with Game Pass. Like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus are not going to be able to gauge how well a game is selling. The only thing they can gauge is how well is that game being played. I'm sorry, there's like some weird
but the amount of active players is going to become the new sales.
That is true.
Target.
Yes. I was just about to go into that before this crazy gnat just flew in my face and made me look like a crazy.
I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. I'll be right back.
Oh, go ahead. But the real funny thing is, and I asked Luke this, and I think I put it on Arsenal X. It was just like, and I was talking to Jesse. It was just like, you guys got 100 games on your platform, so why is it that not everybody is playing a lot of that stuff on Game Pass? And when people ask, where are you playing this weekend, or are you making a statement of what game that you're playing, it always seems to be like maybe one or two of the same games off of a service that offers multiple, and it's very weird.
Well,
it's very weird seeing that in a sense. Go ahead.
I'm glad you point that out, because here's the thing about it. Like, let's look at the demographic of people that play Xbox games, for example. And I'm saying Xbox as a whole. So was Xbox 360, One, or Series X X and S as they come out? Look at the demographic of people that play on that system. They are a unique type of gamer to that sphere. So even though like Game Pass will offer you games like for example Battletoads, for example what was that, Xeno, what was that game, shoot, I'm thinking but like Minecraft Dungeons, for example, or Ori's on Game Pass, Undermine, Xenocrisis, that's the game. Games like that, those are definitely indie games. And where they have the best home at right now? They have it on the Switch, or they have it on a Nintendo console, because Nintendo right now, Nintendo's sales model fits that form factorness, and them making the Switch a portable system. the form factor for games like that fits better, which means they actually get better sales on that. And yes, indie games sell phenomenally well on the Switch or on Nintendo systems in general, but indie games struggle on the PlayStation and on the Xbox brands because and I'm not saying that Xbox and Sony players are, I don't know, like I guarantee you somebody's going to think I'm saying that they're uncultured, if quote unquote, and stuff like that, but that's not it. Like these systems are out because the marketing teams behind these systems realized where certain gamers were at, and they've made sure that these type of games came out there. Now here's the thing about it. If they did not, if they knew for sure that nobody that buys an Xbox or nobody that buys a PlayStation was going to play those games, you would never see those games published on the systems. Every developer gets free reign to publish. Some people get exclusives based on what's going on and stuff like that. So when we go back to why is this game on Game Pass but everybody's playing the same thing, it's because for the most part, like the market is kind of like a certain way on certain platforms, and that's really what the real answer is.
Because I was just like, okay, you guys got Yakuza, you guys got Dragon Quest, you guys got this, and then no one is talking about it. And it's just like, you guys are paying for a service that's offering you a lot of games. Why are you still playing the same game? Like, and this it's not a knock to people who.
Go one ahead. More thing. Because back when I had PlayStation Plus, every time those free games came out, I was downloading them. I was filling my hard drive up with those games and stuff like that. Right. And then turned around and realized, hey, my hard drive is gasping for air, and I'm never playing these games. And then it made me rethink, like, am I getting what I pay for out of my PlayStation Plus subscription?
And it's going to be a fear that is this going to be the same cycle for Series X and PlayStation 5?
Yes, it will. Now here's one thing though that makes it interesting though. A lot of people are getting a PS5 and a lot of people have not had a lot of exposure to PS4. So the idea of playing PS4 games through the PlayStation Plus collection makes it very enticing. Like people are going to get some free AAA titles, and the rumor is right now. I think we're going to make it the rumor control topic for Crossroads this week. The rumor is right now that you're going to get 2 PS4 titles and 2 PS5 titles for PlayStation Plus. Now, I'm not sure. That sounds a little crazy because Sony scaled back and only giving you 2 games a month now. Before we get the PS5. But what I was trying to say is, like, I had to figure out, like, was I getting the most out of my PlayStation Plus subscription? Because, like, why am I throwing? It's $60 a year. It's not that much money, but at the same time, it's something else I could be doing with that money. And ultimately, I had to let PlayStation Plus go. I wasn't really playing multiplayer games in the first place. Like as soon as Monster Hunter came out on the PC, like, that was the last multiplayer game I was playing on console. And so at that point, I was like, you know what, the free games aren't worth enough for me to keep it.
Yeah. See, I think the PlayStation sets itself up because of the PlayStation Plus collection of, look, we know we don't have the space to compete with Game Pass. Now, PlayStation now is fine. It's good. It's surprisingly better than people think it is, and the ability to stream it if you have, like LeRon in your case, like if you don't have the hard drive and you just want to stream the game really quick, you can do that. And as long as you have good internet, it works fine. I think that what I really would love to see, and I think Xbox would be the first one to do this, and then everybody else, of it shouldn't cost to play online. It really shouldn't. That should be a free feature that comes with the price of paying for the game. So if that means that you have to make everybody pay $10 one time to play Fortnite, and that gives you online access for Fortnite, sure. But build it into the cost of the game. I mean, stop trying to charge gamers.
That's a good idea. Like, okay. You buy the game, right? Games are going to be $70. You buy the game, then you buy the one-time access key or license or whatever you want to call it to play the games online. And here's the brilliant thing about that. For the last 2 console generations, like, technically, I've always said that our $60 a month, $60 a year for these services, whether it was Xbox Gold or whether it was PlayStation Plus, we paid the money for them to build their servers up so that we can get a multiplayer ecosystem now. But you know what? Now it's time to give some money back to the developers. So that idea that you said, Logan, about paying an additional cost on top of the cost of the game, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a one-time thing. That's got to be it. It's a one-time thing because
you can't do it like once a year. You can't.
Yeah,
because
it's got it. And also,
Well,
and you know what? Also, and I can't. I hate myself for saying this. Also, this will kind of help out GameStop in their used games ecosystem.
Exactly.
Because what happens is they trade these games in, and like sometimes there's codes that can no longer work for the games. There are codes that actually give you like a free license to play online. Yeah. But the moment this game gets traded in, then someone has to spend like buku money to do the same thing that the last person did and stuff like this.
And that's why I think Xbox would be the ones to do it, because they did just enter a huge partnership with GameStop. Now they have to protect that asset a little bit, because what's the point of doing this if by the end of next year GameStop's not around? So like,
I'm kicking myself in the stones right now for even giving an idea to GameStop. I am.
But the thing about that is that when we're gonna get into the titles. When Microsoft actually talked about that with Xbox One, about if you traded in and all the key features and buying that stuff right there, of course that made a lot of people upset and really pushed more people to buy PlayStation 4 about the used things. But the key thing is more for like cosmetics and DLC and stuff. You can still get the game, have that license and play it whatever you want to play if you're buying physical. I think the license issue comes in when you're doing digital, and so all of that stuff sounds good, but when you when there's a business contract going on with licensing when it comes to digital, it's craziness. Go ahead, Logan.
You can sell this to the gamers of saying, okay, like let's say I buy 2K20, right? NBA 2K20. And I pay the online fee. What if like I got like coins and stuff for my player or for Ultimate Team? Like there's skins, there's all sorts of things you could include in that $5. So like, hey, if you buy the online, we're also going to give you these 2 exclusive skins. That's cool. That's this. That's that. And that's not costing you hardly anything. I mean, the online currency just doesn't cost you anything really.
Yeah.
But
actually, it'd be a perfect sales model, because damn near every game comes out now for deluxe edition now, and the deluxe edition is usually $10 more than the original edition. Just imagine just imagine the deluxe edition gives you all that free swag plus the online license key.
Exactly, already included in. Like, what if it gave you the DLC? It gave you like a statue or whatever it is. Like, it's Master Chief, and then online access. That'd be cool.
But if someone just wants to pay for the base game, which is $70, they still have to pay the $10 licensing fee to play online, but they don't get the swag because they didn't order the deluxe edition. See how it goes?
But also, why couldn't we just build it into the 70 though?
Which a lot of companies do when they're doing the deluxe version. Most of the companies wait for everything to come out for the original, and then they'll package everything and recharge
the game of the year or the season pass.
Yeah.
By the way, though, I said season pass. They will shoot themselves in the foot though if they include that in the season pass. I'll tell you that right now.
I think that's why they wait for everything to come out and then bring out the game, because Nintendo, because like get on Nintendo about how they did Mario Kart 8, but when it came out, they made sure that the season pass was alone. You paid $13 and you got all of this free stuff, and then they packaged it for $60 for Switch. But they included everything on it, and there was
was Mario Kart 8 also a Wii title, a Wii U title? Was it Mario Kart 8?
Yeah.
See, like I said, I feel like I missed like a whole cycle of games because I just opted not to buy a Wii U.
Yeah, but nobody really complained. Nobody really complained about the season pass and stuff like that, because when it came out, the price for the season pass was so low, and you was getting a lot.
That sounds like a really sensible price for a season pass, because like I tell you nowadays, like a lot of games that come out, like if their season pass is more than $20, I'm already thinking, what should I just wait on this game?
The lesson from Batman Arkham Knight is the thing that everybody should learn when it comes to season pass. Because that was a tragedy of release. But, great discussion. This is
maybe
that
maybe episode 68 should be talking about the problem with DLC, season passes, and so on and so forth. Maybe that should be the big topic for episode 68.
Well, we do got the history of Mass Effect next Saturday, so we could do it after.
Mhm.
Right, keep a note of that, Laurent.
I will.
We'll
I
do
will
that.
because I'm part of that.
Yeah. So
We're talking
we'll
about
do
Mass
that
Effect or keep another episode 68.
for 68 because we'll
Okay,
do
okay,
that one for the first Saturday in November. I'm on
gotcha,
vacation again.
gotcha.
But we're going to get into okay, so we're not doing news this week. I didn't feel like there was really no good news to
Honestly,
really have discussions.
there was.
Oh, we got a PlayStation UI.
No, 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 no,
But
no, no,
but
no,
hold
no,
on,
no, 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 no,
hold
no,
on,
no, no. Don't let.
hold on. Let me explain why I said that. I wanted everybody from their respectable shows to talk about that news. So I want to Crossroads to
Okay.
talk more about the PlayStation 5 UI. I wanted Arsenal X to address Phil Spencer and what he thinks about Bethesda and then all of that stuff. I wanted all those everybody
I
to focus on
Hey,
I
those.
will say I will
Um,
say this. I will say this. Like Ed, you must have known that I was going to have a mouthful about that Phil Spencer if you put
oh
it
man.
if you want,
because
if you
I
guys
looked at
want
the
to,
program.
if you want to address it, we can address it. I
No,
have
no,
no
no, no,
problem
I
no,
with it.
no
no, no,
I
no, no.
I
I don't want to derail this show.
Dude,
Like
we already derailed it. Go ahead and let's address this.
no, no,
Let's get
no, 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 no. The
no,
only, okay,
LeRon, say what you need to say. Let's get into it.
the only thing I'm going to say is he didn't say anything controversial in that interview. He really didn't because I mean these are all now considered Xbox properties and stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
gamers can't get their panties in a twist about this stuff. If they want to play these games, they know where to find them. Just like and the crazy thing about this is nothing new. If they want to play Uncharted or Spider-Man, they knew where to go. If they want to play Mass Effect before it became a multi-platform series, they knew where to go. If they want to play if they want to play any of the games, what was one of the games? What was one of the big titles? I remember Dreamwalker Studios. That was Hironobu Sakaguchi's studio after he left
A Blue
left Square
Dragon.
Enix. Yeah, if they want to play those games, they knew where to find them. If they want to play Halo, they know where to find them. If you want to play Mario, you know where to find it. Gamers cannot get their panties in a twist because guess what? Gamers at the end of the day also set this expectation, so
Well,
they can't.
everybody,
but
yes,
where was
gamers set this expectations. Microsoft met those expectations, and now those expectations can't go anywhere because of the dealings that Microsoft has done with Nintendo. That was something like way out the box that nobody really didn't think of. But like I said, those have been indie titles. Once again, Nintendo fans are asking none of the first party titles from Microsoft. They only want the indies. If you want to put Grounded on Switch, that's completely fine. They're not. Who was asking for Gears on? Who was asking really for Gears or Halo 5 on the Nintendo console? Pretty much nobody. Everybody wants to see.
Well,
Wants to see
the
those
reason
characters
why
in Smash.
the reason why is because most of the Nintendo consoles can't carry that type of heavy lifting. Most of
It's
them.
not even. It's not even that. It's not even that heavy lifting. A lot of people who know that Gears 5 and all of those games are on Microsoft platform are not playing them.
Yeah,
They,
that goes
you
back to
know,
our earlier
so
conversation. That goes back to our
oh,
earlier conversation.
go ahead, Logan. I'm sorry.
where was this? Okay, like if you want to draw a fair fight, nobody said a word when Insomniac got bought by Sony. Like they never made the same argument of, oh my god, now I can't play all the Insomniac games only on
This is
PlayStation. Like
okay. So
no, it was just like cool.
this is the
That's
thing
awesome.
about it. Everybody was waiting for Sony to buy Insomniac. It was no.
Hey, it
It
was
was
gonna
no.
happen, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
no surprise because Insomniac has, when it comes to business of well, as a business perspective, they have such a strong business with
Yeah.
Sony itself. If you look at maybe 100% of their games, 95% of them has been on Sony platforms. There's only been one that's been outside of it, and that was the EA game, Fuse. And then the other one was Microsoft with Sunset Overdrive. Everything else that Insomniac has done has been on Sony.
I was a little raw about Sunset Overdrive as a PlayStation owner. I was a little raw about that.
You
I
know,
was a, I was a little raw about that, especially when I was like, "There's no reason for me to buy an Xbox One. There's
right,
no reason because I have a PC. There's no reason."
Yeah,
right,
if you
and
all would like a preview though of like Crossroads when we talk about the UI, that's
Yes,
all I'm gonna say.
I
It's
saw
amazing.
that. I saw that.
It's amazing.
so yeah, so with that, I wanted everybody kind of to have their own
Oh,
their own talk
how
for it. Okay.
how very gentlemanly. How no, I'll just compliment you. How very gentlemanly of you. You gonna let the specific shows like handle their specific content.
Well,
No,
because it doesn't make no sense that we talk about it if we was doing it live. We talk about it, and then the same ideas and opinions get said on the show the following day, or on Crossworlds or on Power Block and stuff. So I just thought for this week, I'm like, let's have something really fun, because to me, the Phil Spencer's they did really stand out. I have already said that everybody's console is going to be fine. If you're going to play Bethesda
Mm-hmm.
games,
Mm-hmm.
go play them. On Microsoft's platforms, Nintendo's going to be fine. Sony's going to be fine. In fact, someone put out a question: who are you going to play more, Bethesda or Insomniac? I'm like, to really tell you the truth, without even having the answer, Insomniac games is going to get played more than Bethesda.
Yeah.
Because not, and I'm not knocking Bethesda. No one really talks about ZeniMax in those games as they talk about Insomniac. You already got, okay, Microsoft does have Bethesda, but they're not really doing anything with Doom Eternal and stuff that's on Game Pass. Guess how much stuff is coming out from Insomniac with Miles Morales? Even though it's selling the PlayStation 5, it's always something constant. Why is Microsoft not talking about Bethesda or
By the
trying
way-
to get them?
By the way, that cat costume. And Miles Morales, that cat costume.
Yeah. So if you guys want to hear about that, Arsenal X is probably going to cover the Phil Spencer stuff. Crossroads is going to address the PlayStation 5 UI. I think it's really worth those shows, having those conversations, and then when we come back, we'll get back into news and everything when on episode 68.
Hey, Logan.
Go ahead.
yo,
I think this is Ed's diplomatic way of telling us to stay in our lane, because we did scoop the whole like crunch thing for Cyberpunk.
I was also gonna say, are we talking about this whole Xbox thing on Tuesday?
No.
It's like, I was gonna throw it in the show notes.
No, because I don't think that for this.
I mean, one comment if he needs to stay in his lane on Power Block and look at what we're getting.
No, because I think those discussions need to be on those shows and not so much on Boss Rush. Is because those stories are not big enough for me for us to have that conversation. I think they're big and they're more big enough content wise for everybody's own show and stuff. So
Fine, we get OnlyFans and we get feet pics, okay?
Mhm.
That's our lane. We founded this block.
Okay. Well, Jesse asked this question to me, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. What TV detective would you put in Mortal Kombat 11, and what would be their background movie set? We was having a fun idea, talk about it, and stuff. And I said Kojak first, but then I changed it to Get
Nice.
Smart. Maximum Get Smart. Yeah.
We talking about the Don Adams Get Smart, or are we talking
Yes.
Steve Carell's Get Smart?
Oh, Steve
Talking
Carell's
about the
so
Don
bad.
Adams.
I gotta go with the 9-9. I gotta go Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the best detective. And here's his signature move is just screaming with guitar. Ah!
What about you, LeRon?
Come on now. It's Daffy Duck's Duck Twacy.
Oh, yes.
Just and his sidekick has to be the home chick in the red dress with the shotgun. It's got to be his sidekick. As a matter of fact, she would be one of his fatalities.
Yeah, I know for Get Smart, I know he just has so many gadgets, so some of the gadgets would kill him. Jesse said Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah.
Detective Pikachu is another one that I was thinking of.
Can you imagine having Inspector Gadget in a Mortal Kombat game, and one of his fatalities is the helicopter blades from his hat? Oh man.
Go kill your motherfucking face off. Yeah.
But wasn't that in Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3? That was
3.
Yeah, 3.
Because that was Cyrax.
Yeah.
So anyone else? What about Pink Panther?
Detective Pink. Detective Pink.
These are little lamest ones though.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what about what's her name from Murder She Wrote or Matlock?
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I can't see Angela Lansbury's character. Like, I mean, I've heard like. I've heard some of her Twitter spats. She gets kind of raw because she's a British lady and stuff. But I can't see her at the end of the day, just being a detective and having a move set and some fatalities. I can't see it.
The other one I was thinking of, and I know he's not technically a detective, but Hugh Laurie's Dr. House. And his specialty power up would be him just taking a bunch of steroids.
Hold on. You know the ultimate detective that should be in Mortal Kombat?
Who?
Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect.
Man.
Is he a detective?
Yeah, he worked for CSEC. He was running the investigation on Saren. Yep. And you know what?
I love his voice actor.
He would fit because when in Mass Effect 2, when what was his code name? Because he had a cover when when he was on Omega and he was taking out all the mercenary groups.
No, Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
I haven't gotten to Mass Effect 2 yet. I'm almost done with my Mass Effect 1 run.
I literally got to play that today and tomorrow. Get it done in 2 days so I get on through. I was just playing Mass Effect 2 a while back and I forgot what his name was because he was shooting everybody. That was the mission.
Man, he was murking everybody.
I love Garrus and I love his voice actor. I still he would be in my top 10 characters of all time. Without no shadow of a doubt. I love Garrus. But I actually want to ask you guys this question. We're going to move on from that one because I was watching Shane Kelly's 1v1 that you guys really, once again, should check out. And he mentioned about dungeons not being in Breath of the Wild, and he kind of wants them back in. Oh, go ahead, LeRon.
His code name was Archangel.
Yes. And then it's funny because when you see him, he got on that blue outfit. I'm just like,
yep.
Why does this fit? This fits so much. I love Mass Effect 2. Oh, I can't wait for the history of Mass Effect. We are going to have some fun discussions. I got to get in touch with Carl, with Joe, and MJ. It's going to be a great episode. I hope you guys could check it out. But Shane was talking about dungeons not being in Breath of the Wild 2. I mean Breath of the Wild. He kind of wants them in Breath of the Wild 2, and it actually got me asking you guys this question. Does Nintendo breaking formulaic games makes the genre or the community become better or fix the problems that genre or the community has in games? And it sounds very weird, but it's just I think when Nintendo make games that's in a series that's off the beaten path, they kind of it's really better to enjoy, and it really makes you think that it's hard to go back to older games and stuff. Because I when I was listening to this 1v1, I actually was just I don't want dungeons back in Breath of the Wild 2. I like this freedom. I think I want dungeons once the series wrap up. Like the Breath of the Wild series, if they do a 3, once that wrap up, I would like them back in the game. But I think this free world of exploring is so good. I feel like going back to the dungeons will make it feel formulaic. But what did you guys think?
I'm one of those weird people. I actually like when sequels aren't exactly the same back to back to back. Like when there's something different. Sometimes of course companies will play it safe and sometimes their experiences are always similar to the last experience, but I love when they turn around and say, okay, for example, people hated Other M. I really didn't have a big problem with Other M. I thought it was something fresh and unique to the formula, even though I do miss the platforming stuff, but I was one of those people that had a lot of adjustments to make when Metroid Prime came out and stuff like that. So I feel that breaking the formula, the tried and true formula, because I was offended when the second Legend of Zelda was more of a side scroller than the top down platformer.
That butter knife game.
and so and I was happy as hell when Link to the Past came back, but then and they screwed me over again when Ocarina of Time came out and stuff like that. But you know what, those progressions and things, even the Legend of Zelda train game, Remember that one?
Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, stuff like that. It brings something different and unique to the game, and they're also able to build on top of the lore. They try not to turn any of these Zelda games into side story games. Even the Minish Cap has a place in the lore, but the Minish Cap was a damn good Zelda game, in my opinion.
I love that. Love that game.
So honestly, but I can't say it always works for everything else, because there are some Mario titles that were very lukewarm, and even though some Super Mario titles are like some of the Super Mario titles are like some of the hottest selling games, in the gaming ecosphere. They it's high risk, high reward. Sometimes you can only do but so much. Like Super Mario 2 was technically a bomb, but at the same time they also didn't. But if I'm getting it correctly, Nintendo didn't have faith that the originally planned sequel for Super Mario 2 that we ultimately got as the Lost Worlds or something.
Lost Levels.
The Lost Levels.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Nintendo didn't think that the Western audience would appreciate that type of game, and that's why they converted that one game and made it Super Mario 2.
Toki Panic.
Yeah, which I love that. I love that Mario game.
I love to. I
love it, and it was so nice as later games came out in the Mario series. They had some of the mechanics like picking up plants and picking up the opponents and stuff and things like that. I loved it, but apparently people didn't get an appreciation for Super Mario 2 until it came out on the Game Boy Advance. People didn't get an appreciation for it. It was like a cult classic until they released it on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, because see, the Lost Levels they made the game super hard, and bringing like that over to America, they literally would have just like halfway ruined Nintendo about that. And so they reskinned Toki Panic to make it look like Mario Brothers 2, and they did. I think that's why when we hear even just the music in Super Mario Brothers 2, that is so memorable. It has that jazz kind of feel, and so it still stands. To me, it still stands the test of time. It's one of Mario's best games, soundtrack wise, and challenger wise, and even character wise. Like we still got the Shy Guys. We still got the characters that spit out the things with the mask. We still got the power block and everything.
Well, the power block's been around since Mario Brothers.
No, it's been only in Mario Brothers 2.
The power block was the power block came from the original Mario Brothers game, the one where they
came in Mario Brothers 2. Because the original game, the original game.
Ed, I'm older than you.
You're only about 5 years older than me. The difference.
There's an arcade game called Mario Brothers where Mario and Luigi were.
You're talking about the Atari one that came out on Atari.
It was an arcade game first, and then it came to all the other systems.
Okay, so yes, that one, yes, because it was almost like the Popeye game and Joust and stuff, and it was on that one board, and you used the power block to hit the turtles.
It shook the whole block. It shook the whole board. Yeah, and that's what the power block does in all the other Mario games.
But that was when you had to hit it. In Mario Brothers 2, that's when they kind of like realized you picking it up, throwing it, and then it would shake the world.
Well, remember that was the main mechanic in Super Mario 2. You picked up everything. You didn't pop it. Shoot, you jump underneath someone trying to hit it if you want to. You did.
I own the Mario Brothers for the Atari game, so I know what you're talking about. Okay, in that sense, yes, you are correct. But yeah, Logan, go ahead. I forgot what I was saying.
I don't know what I was going to. I got nothing on this one.
Even if it's not Nintendo, has there ever been a game or a series that when it's breaking the formulaic design, it helps the community kind of, or the genre and stuff, like maybe enjoy the series better, or really really push it out to the forefront to be like, yeah, this is the game that it should be, and we really love.
Yeah, Uncharted Lost Legacy is kind of that game for me, where it completely broke apart a franchise that we all loved, and it broke apart in a great way. It showed that it didn't have to rely on Drake, and so when that happens and you get this diversity within it, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good, yes, that's a fantastic answer. A great game. Because you didn't have to go in the past and play half of the game and then get into the present, redo it, and then do all that stuff over again.
Mhm.
So Lost Legacy, yes, I'm throwing shade to Uncharted 2. And I'm going to continue to throw shade to Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 in a sense. Where you play half of the game in the past and then
Yep.
you catch up to the present, redo what you did at the present time, and then the game goes forward.
Uncharted's not Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 are not the first games that ever did that though.
But I'm ragging on them for that
Dishonored,
series.
that's pretty much the whole game as a general.
Oh well, if anyone remember Dishonored? No tea, no shade, uh, but yeah. So so yeah, I think when Nintendo breaks their formula games, like when they do something new within the series, I think it's really good. Like I mentioned earlier, Kirby's Epic Yarn, playing the game like that on easy, using that graphic style, and instead of you sucking up enemies, you're hitting them with a rope. It was something really new. I really enjoyed it. It was something that in this industry, it was something that we didn't see. We all praise Jet Set Radio with the cell shading game. Who was doing anything like that? Definitely for a rollerblading game. Who was thinking about that? Look at Tony Hawk in a sense. Like last time we talked about a skateboarding game, for me personally was like Skate or Die, and that was from Konami. Everything else, like really there was like no skating games until Tony Hawk came. And that kind of changed on how you was finding licensed music, how you was really learning tricks, and how a high score from kind of like the 80s and 90s and arcade years really mattered, because you get a high score by doing that trick and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crash Bandicoot kind of changed platformers for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to just stick to this one-dimensional kind of world. You can really build upon these different ideas. It's a platformer, but you're running vertically instead of horizontally in it. And I mean, there's so many cool moments in Crash that I think changed games for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though Crash 4, a lot of people are not liking.
Dude, I don't know what they're talking about. It's just because it's hard. I mean, if people give that game a chance, it's the best Crash game. I will die on that hill.
I will say this. It's funny because when people get a game and they don't expect it to be insanely hard, they hate it. But when a game's in development, and they know that the game is going to be insanely hard, they love it. So it's one of those things, like like their expectation for a game sometimes gets tarnished by the level of difficulty. And I will say this, like I definitely don't look at Demon Souls and trilogy. Trilogy franchise. I don't look at it, the same way, because when I first played the game, I didn't expect it was going to be like balls crushingly hard, but it was. And now I turn around whenever they say, "Oh, this is the next game in the Demon series," like, "Oh no, pass."
I like I said, so okay, everybody was just like, "Oh, Demon Souls is so hard." I'm like, there's an NES game called Dungeon Master. If you want something very challenging, you go play that. And let's see if you get through that game, because that will piss you way off. Demon Souls and Dark Souls and all of that stuff, they still hold your hand. They still play it. Dungeon Master, nope. You can get to the last level. You mess yourself up. You got to start everything way at the beginning without anything. All that work that you put in, you got to redo. So
and that'd be a game that get tossed right into a fire pit if it was in my collection. Like GameStop would make some money off of me, because that'd be a trade-in.
But if everybody was talking about, oh, this game is challenging, this game is difficult and very hard, I'm like, go play some old games that this kind of resembles, and you would get difficulty.
The problem,
y'all are still struggling to get through Mega Man.
The problem is The problem is people retroactively review games, and when I say retroactively, I mean like for example, Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1 was a hard ass game when it came out back in the day. I remember having fits with that game. I beat it ultimately when it came out, but I remember having fits with that game when it came out. But also at the same time, I was younger. My brain was configured a little bit easier to solve these puzzles and stuff like that. Whereas
Go ahead.
Whereas,
I did not mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're cool. Whereas like for example, when Mega Man 9 came out, and everybody's like, oh, it's going back to the 8-bit, and like, why is this game so hard? I was like, oh, you never played Mega Man 1, did you?
Right.
I think when you go back to the Crash games, let's look at how much gaming has changed in 20 years since the originals came out, right? So when you look at like Crash 1 and 2 and 3, people weren't speeding through games to get that completion, right? Yeah. They were wanting to take their time. They were wanting to have fun with it. So when you died 20 times trying to freaking ride a polar bear, it was like, hey, nope. It was fun. It was your brother was giving you crap because you suck at the game.
I unfortunately beat Crash 1 to 2 within 3 days, 100%. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's cool though. But I mean, there's so many of us though who did take the time on that one of like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get every little speed run. I'm gonna make sure I do this. I'm gonna make sure I do that. So now that the fourth one's come out, I think I've tried to play the fourth one in the same way I played 1, 2, and 3. Of like, I'm not in a rush to beat this game. I don't care about trophy hunting in this game. Like trophies weren't a thing then. They
well, really. This is the weird thing about Crash. This is not 4. This is like what, maybe the 9th or 10th game.
This is 4th. This is literally Crash.
What happened to all the other Crash games that Activision was doing?
No,
or when it was going to different.
It's literally just Crash 4. It's about time, yeah.
So it's the 4th game in the original style, but everything else doesn't count.
Yeah, because most of those games are party games.
Yeah.
No, all of them were 3D platform games.
No.
With Crash?
Lately, like they've gone out and said this is the 4th Crash game, period, point blank.
So that's what I'm saying, because like I think Crash was getting passed around by different developers and publishers. And
but it was always something else. It wasn't a true Crash game. It didn't have like all the specific platform stuff that made Crash.
I see where Ed's going with this because I had to look it up while you guys talking about it. Okay, so you got Crash the Huge Adventure, Crash Entrance, Purple Ripto's Rampage, Skylanders. Wait, that doesn't really count. That's part of Skylanders series.
Skylanders.
Yeah, but I see where he's going with that. Technically, and these games are all classified as spin-offs. Bash and Boom Bang were considered party games. Team Racing, Nitro Kart, Tag Team Racing, and Racing Fuel were considered racing games. And the main series, let's see, Crash Bandicoot, Crash, Cortex Strikes Back, Warped, Wrath of Cortex, Twinsanity. Okay, these are all considered main series games. It's About Time. Why they call it It's About Time the 4th one though?
Right, that's why I was realizing.
Because I think it continues the story from 3. Because I mean, Cortex has never really died, like truly died. And I think because like Warped, he's I don't know the best way to describe this. Ed, you got a good point, but yeah, no, it's I remember them saying, yeah, no, this is just straight up the 4th Crash game.
Well, and I understand it was.
You know what? There's a good possibility. Because remember they just re-released the bundle, the Insane Trilogy. Yeah. So it's probably to avoid a lot of confusion. With newer gamers. Because a lot of gamers in the modern era right now have gotten their first taste of Crash Bandicoot with the Insane Trilogy. So chances are they probably named it Crash 4 just to save some of the confusion, and also they know gamers have a certain type of spirit. They will go back and try and find all these games, and some of them are going to be hard, some of them are going to be expensive to find, and stuff like that. So that's probably what they did. It was just a marketing gimmick just to save people a lot of time and stress.
Okay, because I think a lot of adults are playing Crash and kids. I'm just like, I thought this game was intended for kids, but I guess. But about that. But this is something fun. We're going to end on, unless we have more topics that you guys want to talk about. I kind of asked these guys, with just us knowing each other, interacting and stuff. what three games do we think would fit their wheelhouse? Like what fits their personality and stuff. And so we were gonna have Jesse on. Jesse wasn't able to make it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give mine out for Jesse, and then I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. For Jesse, I think EJ World from PS2 would fit his personality because he's a music creator. He loves making music and he does a lot of dance and EDM. In that game, you make a lot of dance music and creating. I owned it on PS2 and it's so much fun. It really is a great game. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which is on mobile. And the reason why is because he loves camping. He loves to go outside. He loves being outdoors and everything. So I think that would fit his personality. And last but not least, Mario and Luigi, because I think like in a sense, the way that me and him go about things and we talk, he's super funny, super charming, and like he's very humble and everything. And it's just like when I talk to him, everything, it's like I'm talking to another brother of mine, and it's just like hanging out. And when we geek about Xbox stuff, we would geek about Xbox stuff. Jesse knows as many times I call him like to be like, okay, I'm in the grocery store. What food do I need to get? Oh, did you see this Xbox news? And literally would talk to him in the grocery store to like get into my car, drive 45 minutes to my house, and still talking to Jesse where it feels like it's a podcast. We are just bouncing off each other and laughing and stuff, and I kind of feel like that's the relationship Mario and Luigi kind of has and stuff and everything. So that game, those three games, EJ World, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and Mario and Luigi, I think those three games will fit his personality. But Logan, I'm gonna hand it over to you. So
Okay,
you can give a go.
So I didn't finish my list for Jesse because I don't know him that well, and I've actually never really talked to him. The only game I really had on it for him was Sunset Overdrive, because everybody on Xbox should play Sunset Overdrive. It's an amazing game.
Oh, and you don't know. Well, I could see that. Like he does love punk music, and Sunset Overdrive has this punk mentality to it. Doing these crazy things. So I could see that.
Yeah, it'd be a good game. For you, Ed, I've got three beautiful games. One, because we all kind of gang up on you, and we love you, and you're the best. Gang Beasts. I think you would love Gang Beasts. This game is it's weird, it's fun. It's like a battle royale, but with like the Fall Guys characters. Uh-huh. With Fall Guys characters. It's just awesome. Next one, I know you like a good horror game once in a while, and it's actually free on PlayStation Plus this month. Vampire.
I got it on PS4.
Oh, it's so good.
I seen someone they just got just platinumed it. But yeah, I literally downloaded it on PS4, so I'm excited to play. I heard it's really good. It's really good.
And because you're one of the most just free, awesome spirits that I know, there is a beautiful game. It's on mobile. Check it out. Sayonara Wild Hearts.
I have it on Switch.
It's so good.
LeRon, you do not understand. When I seen that game at the Game Awards 2018.
18.
Oh, when I seen that trailer, I was already be like, I need to buy this. And because I think they showed it for Switch first before it came to everybody else. When that game dropped, I already have bought it. I love the music is fantastic. The artwork is great. Yeah, and plus I love music. I love dance. I love art like that. And so yeah, that's my first step. I feel honored.
Right now. It's good three games that you might like.
Okay, go ahead, Logan. What about
LeRon? Okay, so for LeRon, the first one is a game I know he hasn't played yet, and he really needs to. Ghost of Tsushima, dude. You will love this game to death.
Now, what's his personality with Ghost of Tsushima?
Because he's hardcore, bro. Because he's just full of action. He's hardcore.
Give me a hot Hattori Hanzo sword. I will definitely be your samurai.
The second game, because I know you're a Trekkie, you gotta play Star Trek VR. Star Trek Discovery VR.
Really?
This game is so weirdly cool. It's best if you have 4 players. It's where you're actually on the flight deck, and everybody has like tasks that they have to do. So like if you're on shields, you have to constantly be working on the shields. If you're Captain Picard, like whatever. It is so freaking cool. You actually get to run through great Star Trek missions that you know from like Next Generation and Discovery.
Oh wow.
In this game, it's so cool.
Okay.
And then I know you're a very deep person. You're a very methodical person, and you speak from the heart a lot. There is a beautiful game called The Adventures of Captain Spirit. This is a game that got overlooked. It's from the Life is Strange team.
Mm-hmm. It was the demo that came on Xbox. Did it come out?
The demo came on everybody. Yep, it came out on everybody at E3 3 years ago. It is a wonderful. It's still free to play. It's a wonderful, full of heart game about a kid who just uses his imagination, but shows the world that he's incredibly strong.
And it leads it to
Life
is Strange 2,
yep.
Which I still need to get in play. But yeah, Captain Spirit, that game was really, really good.
So good.
That demo, I should say. All right, Logan. All right, LeRon. Go ahead and give yours.
I'm gonna start my cohort Logan here. All right, so these are the games that I feel like best encompasses Logan's personality. And I'm gonna start with the Madden series. I couldn't necessarily name a game in general, but of course because Logan is one of the main people of Trash Talk, and also he's a big sports fan and stuff like that. Like of course, like Logan's got that football mentality, that football mind, and and it just fits that if the Madden universe was a thing, he would be in it.
Yes.
For the second one, this is more of a game character than it is an actual game. And this goes back to his Trash Talk and his LAN party personas and stuff like that. And actually it's a tie because I couldn't narrow down which one better fit him, so I just mashed them both together. Serious Sam and Duke Nukem.
Yes.
Wow.
Podcasting right there.
And basically, and you know what, and I'm just gonna tell our audience right now, like, you need to listen to the shows besides Crossroads that Logan's on. You will get that real quick, man. Logan's filter is unique. It's funny when he puts it on, but it's hilarious when it's off. And because this guy is a foodie, there was one game in particular, and it's old school. I went back into the dungeon of video games for this one. Burger Time.
Yeah. Let's do it, man.
I had a couple of games for Jesse, which I'll go ahead and I'll just throw them out there now. Yes, he is our resident musician here for Boss Rush Games and stuff like that. And but when you take a look at Jesse, when you look at him, tell me if you not see the hero from Brutal Legend.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, I'm not saying Jack Black. I'm talking about the actual character in the game. Yeah. The musical ties, everything, and also like Jesse has a spirit of adventure about him. You hear it every time he starts getting really romantic about certain games that he's playing.
Yeah.
Like listen to how he's talking about his labor of love with Fortnite and getting that whole Marvel crossover stuff done. Stuff like that. Yeah, he's got that drive for adventure. And I also got him for with Intelligent Cube. There was no protagonist. You are the protagonist in there, but Intelligent Cube, like, Jesse has a lot of layers, and it's been fun, like, being on any of the podcast shows, as a guest with him on that and stuff, because Jesse he will talk about the fun stuff, but he'll also talk about the thought provoking stuff on any topic. So whether we're talking about things like Nintendo games, or whether we're talking about things like how studios are treating their properties and stuff like that. He always brings something to the conversation that actually helps like change the trajectory of where the initial part of the conversation was going, and that's one of the things. I couldn't think of a third game for him. Now, Ed, you are a hard man to nail down, and that's why I got this first one for you, because there's so many layers to you, and I feel like just when I think I know what's up with you, you basically flip everything upside down. So of course I put the original Mario Maker game.
Yeah.
Because you are so out there and it's so unpredictable. It's like when you play some of those Mario Maker levels that people make, and like you jump and all of a sudden, what's it called, a Kaizo block or something like that, where it just appears right above you and stuff like that. You're like that, but it's cool because like once I think I've navigated all your thought processes and stuff, you throw something out there and I have to start over at the beginning.
Yes.
Now, your imagination and your flair for it, basically, you're the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Wow.
You're Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Like, you've got the imagination. You pretty much, like, whenever you sink into a game and stuff, you go all in. Like, you invest in the lore, you invest in the mechanics, everything. And Legends of Zelda Wind Waker, it was a well-met but also controversial title in the series at the same time. But at the same time, it forced the gamers to have their imagination, use their imagination, stuff like that. And honestly, that's you to a T. And now, for the third game, and I'm using a whole series for this one. Every time, it seems like at least a couple times a week, you're always in chat trying to pump us up, and you're also telling us about what you're bumping to while on your way to work or as you're heading down to the store to get your next game and stuff like that. Space Channel 5 series.
Yes.
But I also know it's also because you love music games and stuff and rhythm games and stuff like that. So of course Space Channel 5, because let's be honest, Space Channel 5 had some of the best music for a game of that type. It was an action adventure game, and
yes.
And I mean, how can you not think about that one, the main Space Channel 5 tune, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's you. That's you to a T, man, because like you, and also I thought I listened to a lot of video game music just in everyday life, but apparently you have me beat.
Dude, I growing up listening to gaming music, like I tell the story that I used to have a little recorder and stuff, and when I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Sega Genesis, there's certain level stages I love, so I would record them right off of my TV, and I did the same thing. I did the same thing for Streets of Rage 2, like recording the music off of it, and everything. And it's something, and I was talking about that, and it's great that you mentioned Mario Maker and Wind Waker. It's because I definitely love creativity. I love hearing different ideas and different music, and I think with indie games like with Rhyme and Just Shapes and Beats and stuff, it's just that arrangement stuff, that creativity is not only for first party and third party games, it's for indie games that's going to be very memorable too. Like if they came up with, you could check my Twitter, and I went crazy with Just Shapes and Beats, and was just like, I know this is licensed music, but I need an album of this, like a little soundtrack. So thank you, LeRon, about that. I really feel honored about it. Have you guys ever felt like, I know this is something new to do, and then I'll get to my list, but have you ever thought about a game representing somebody's personality and everything?
I have, yeah. I have. Like, I guess because like video games is like a part of my life and everything. It's like sometimes it's real easy to like just throw like somebody into where they would fit in, in a certain video game universe and stuff like that. I mean, of course, me being a Trekkie, like it makes sense that my personality would be any of the Star Trek games, especially in the stuff where they're on the bridge and folks are giving out orders and stuff. I'm not saying I like to order people around because with all the stuff I do in the IT world, it feels like I'm an engineer in Starfleet anyway.
Coming from the military background there too, that you have.
That too, yeah. Yep. And of course, Logan's personality, like I said, he's in between a sportscaster for Madden, and he's basically Duke Nukem. He'll tell it to you like it is, as he's watching some Smash Mouth football.
Wow.
Look, that's one thing I always kind of loved about myself. Not to talk about myself that much, but no. When I was in broadcasting classes and stuff in college, it was like, you have a personality, and we don't know if we love it, we don't know if we hate it, but like when the filter's on, it's great. But man, because I mean, you do get the professionalism, and I know enough broadcasting tricks to make it sound good, but at the same time, I can't sit there and do a whole broadcast being as professional as I can. I have to add that personality, and so like Duke Nukem is a perfect. I freaking love that.
Honestly, I think it's why you and I bounce so well Yeah, on Crossroads because like I like professionalism, but at the same time, sometimes Meg's probably gonna come at me with the yardstick on this one.
Well,
But sometimes,
go ahead.
oh, I was about to say, but sometimes it's like fuck your feelings, let's talk.
Yeah. Well, because like when we were forming Crossroads, we weren't sure exactly who was going to host that until literally I think the day of, and there was an idea I'd had like if it ended up being me, it was like, do I keep it like uniform like I do on Trash Talk, or do I try to fuck around with it like I do with like LAN party stuff and try to insert jokes and try to set up bits and do all that like. There was a lot of thought and consideration that I was kind of debating.
Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't come out there being completely professional because I wanted this to be like a really meshed group of people and stuff like that. And I feel like we even brought some of the personalities out of like I know we brought out of Nelly. I know we did.
Oh yeah, it is awesome.
And then Austin joining us, like.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot on Austin for a second here because I love the dude to death. So don't get me wrong. I don't know if we made a mistake or not because it just him and I have doing as long as we have together. He knows that all he has to do is like say one sentence and I'm off, and he knows he can get me out in a heartbeat. And so
you talking the whole Uncharted 3 versus Uncharted 2?
Oh yeah, no. He knows my trigger words. But it is great having like I've talked about it with Corey. In Crossroads, like there's a natural chemistry that just comes just because of the personalities. And throwing Austin in as that fourth chair was just like that's just awesome. It kind of completes everything where I go a little bit crazy. He's the one that can kind of rein it in because he's used to me doing it.
Except for that one Crossroads show where I had a convenient bowl of popcorn.
And just sitting back eating. You and Nelly was just sitting back just like, we're about to enjoy this. And I was just like this. Look at the black folks enjoying this show. Where my honey bun at? That was my snacks enjoying it. But well, Logan, these games, I feel like this represents your personality just from interacting with you and talking to you. Football Manager on PC. I think the way that you're organized and how you go about with trash talk and how even just the way that you react on Twitter talking about sports and everything and stuff, it's so good that it definitely with you having your fantasy football organized and you really care and love have a love for the game. And I think definitely with mixing the sports and mixing your podcast and everything, you just manage everything so well. Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and the reason why I say Animal Crossing is that finding out that you're an interior designer at your job and stuff and helping customers get the right fit for their home and everything. I don't know if you do that at your house or anything, but I'm just like when we talked about your job and stuff and seeing that, I was just like, this is what Animal Crossing really is. It's like when you get your own space and you want to design it the way that you want to design it and stuff. I feel like that kind of represents you. Like you have a sense of ideal of design when it comes to the home stuff. And last but not least is Make My Video from Sega CD. The way that
that's a good one.
The way that you create and you design the logos or the videos for Boss Rush, even just for yourself and everything, you have a very artistic style to it, and it's very professional and it looks really good. Now I'm not saying that it looks crappy because in case of people look at Make My Video and be like, oh, these graphics don't look good and stuff. I'm like, no, it's him putting all those ideas and that creativity into this video and put it and making it look so cool. It's just so amazing, and just like the work that you put into the editing and stuff, it really fits your personality. So those are those three games for you. So LeRon, for you, with your personality, Ring Fit for Switch. And it's the way that you, but the way that you are inspired to work out and be very body positive and stuff, and just all the hard work that you put in when you fasting. But you really got the energy. You motivate people. When we talked earlier, and you even got a video up doing the 30-day push-ups and stuff. It's just like you are putting fitness is part of your livelihood, and seeing that inspires other people who want to get fit and everything.
I will say this though, as far as like a gym person or a leg person, I'm lazy. Like there's a reason why I have a personal trainer.
But see, you're more dedicated. I mean, like I've got I come from college cheerleader background, and so I still got cheerleaders who are in the NFL and stuff like that. It's like watching your routine. You're more dedicated to your craft than some of the pros I know that are out there doing it, and that's impressive, man.
Thanks.
So the second game is Xenophobe, and this was an arcade by me.
I remember that.
So
about that game in a long time.
I feel like you're about to throw back our conversation from Thursday night. I feel like that's.
I was a little bit, but I was going for more sci-fi because I didn't want to do Mass Effect or Dead Space because I feel like those are favorites, and even though they're your favorites and you love it, even with Metro and stuff, I'm like, I want something that kind of represents reality because you talk about sci-fi so much, and when we think of sci-fi, of course, space, and when you think of the way that we talked about Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, when we talk about just other things that deal with sci-fi, when it comes to games, Xenophobe was an arcade game back in the day, really dealing with space. If it wasn't going to be Xenophobe, it was going to be Alien Syndrome.
Another good one. Another one of my favorites too.
Yeah. So I was just trying to find, I'm just like, searching to do all the rooms, going to do all of these aliens and stuff. I was just like, this is LeRon. And my last game, because I know you like IT, I know you're a tech, and know you're a nerd and stuff. I actually went a different way, and you might be surprised by this one. Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Was kind of the pre-idea, was a game where you kind of, I think you were like a detective. It had some RPG elements, but you was trying to go through different places, hacking everything. And
yes,
when we got Cyberpunk coming up next. Shadowrun was in that vein of an idea of a game in a sense, but in a different thing. And I remember playing Shadowrun, not getting far into it because it really don't explain a lot of things to you, but something about it was just like really cool to look at. And it wasn't Snatcher, which was another game that was from Konami, Kojima, but that was more of their take on the Harrison Ford movie,
Blade Runner.
It was that kind of take and stuff. I thought Shadowrun was more fitting because it had a futuristic, but it wasn't like too cyberpunk or a neo-punk movement. It was just had about it, and I was just like, this is gonna be like putting it way back that nobody would think about. So Shadowrun, I had to come with that. And so I don't know if you know about that one, Logan. With Shadowrun.
I don't know. I remember hearing that name, but I don't know what the specific game is.
It was a 360 game that was a multiplayer that everybody didn't like, that people didn't like.
I remember that one.
When I remember was on Super Nintendo. But yeah, those are the games that kind of describes our personality. I think I'm gonna make one for Celeste, Nelly, Megan. I think I'm gonna make one for Corey. I got to talk a little bit more to Joe. I probably could make one for Josh. I probably could make one for the crew. But yeah, I think those games kind of represent our personality. Mario Maker surprised me. So Logan, you surprised me too. I was just like, the heart. Just like I feel so honored with that. But everybody, that's gonna be it for Boss Rush Games. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, LeRon. Where can we find you guys at? Logan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Logan Corkins or Hoodie Mode Engaged, and you can also just find me on Land Party. Heck yeah.
Yes. You guys can check out Trash Talk is on live Wednesdays on Boss Rush Games on Twitter, on Twitch.com. I'm sorry. LeRon, where can we find you?
You can find me on social media at Exodus803. That's EXODUS803. That's also my gamer tag. So I'm easy to find if you're trying to look me up on the different platforms I play games on. And yes, I am one of the hosts of Crossroads every Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern Time on Boss Rush Twitch channel.
Oh, hey, don't forget, people, too. Trash Talk did get a new Spotify yesterday. So if you are on Spotify now, search Trash Talk BRG, and that's where you're going to be able to find us now.
All right.
You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud. I will be getting back into that. I'm in the process of recording some episodes to get that out. Like I said, the episode coming back, I actually found some new music that I'm going to be using. The first episode coming back is going to be, can Sony and Nintendo ever work together again? So I can't wait for you guys to get listen to that. Well, quickly before we go, everybody, I have been playing Foregone on Nintendo Switch. I am loving it. I've been playing Time Spinners on PS4, enjoying that game also, and Soma, and I tried a little bit of the Ghost of Tsushima. I will be jumping back into Dead Space and Mass Effect from my Xbox One, but I've just been playing all of these other games, and Hades, of course. Logan, quickly, what have you been getting down to?
Playing a lot of Rocket League because I'm getting ready to go into competitive season here in November, and then tonight I will start my a new run on Apex Legends.
Yes, I am also trying to finish all the first party games for PlayStation. I still need to beat Spider-Man. I'm so going to start that one.
So good. Yeah. Why not wait for the remastered? This could be awesome.
Because I paid $60 for it when it came out, so okay. I would rather. I played a little bit and then I stopped, and then I think I was playing something else for it.
Play that DLC, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I do. LeRon, what have you been getting down to?
Currently it's been Foregone. Foregone. I basically stayed up all night Tuesday waiting for it to come out, and then didn't get a chance to play it until late the next day. And stole the fire, pun intended, right out of Hades, because Hades was the game I was grinding on before Foregone came out on the Switch. But that's been my main thing. I haven't really. It's funny, that game's been sucking so much time out of me. I haven't really been putting my emphasis on Mass Effect and my Mass Effect replay and Monster Hunter.
And Horizon Zero Dawn.
Why did you do that? Why would you trigger Logan like that? Because you know I'm about to get it. You. Ed, we gonna have words.
Just gonna work on my yoga breath. Just gonna.
So Logan, after the podcast, step away. Let me and LeRon talk. We'll work something out.
Oh no. The words we're gonna have are gonna be silent words because I'm gonna hang up.
Shay. And then I'll get a message be like, I love you, Ed. Like, oh. But yeah, everybody, that's what we've been quickly getting down to. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. We are getting close to voting. So if you have already voted, I am proud of you guys getting out there to vote. If not, if there's time still to register or you want to check your registration, do get that together, because we only have about a week left, about 2 weeks left before it's time for us to go out there and vote. And everybody, your word is important. Your vote is important. So we encourage you guys to get out there and vote. You have seen the latest town hall. You have seen some of the debates. There's still things that's coming out, so that you guys can watch. But if you feel like you already made your decision, really get out there when voting time comes. If you're doing early voting, take the time, wait in that line, do what you need to do to make your voice be heard. But that is all from Boss Rush Podcast. As always, let's continue to play video games and be better to one another. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Like I said. Yes, and like I said, everybody, next week, next episode will be the history of Mass Effect. So, bye, everybody.